Hello, I'm Camelia and you're watching KiniNews. Lim Guan Eng has slammed Hadi's latest remarks on non-Muslims and non-Malays. He called on the public to lodge police reports against Hadi to put an end to his divisive and racist politics.
DAP chairperson Lim Guan Eng has called on Malaysians to lodge police reports against past President Abdul Hadi Awang. He said this is to stop divisive, extremist and racist politics that would threaten national unity and integration. Lim said this in response to Hadi's statement for the Malays to unite, to prevent themselves from being openly conned, which he said singled out non-Muslims and non-Malays for all the problems faced by Malays. He said Hadi is so desperate to disrupt, destabilise and even destroy the unity government led by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim that he continues to openly target non-Muslims and non-Malays. Lim added that Hadi now blames them as the biggest group of plunderers and those who give and receive bribes. According to Lim, Hadi had exposed his party's naked pursuit of power regardless of the cost with his baseless allegations. He also pointed out that the government's failure to act against the past presidents in the past had emboldened him. Lim said that in Hadi's blind ambition to unite the Malays under him, he has shown himself as being prepared to betray and sacrifice the basic constitutional rights of non-Muslims and non-Malays. He described Hadi and PAS as a clear and present danger to the vision of Malaysia belonging to all and said such provocations cannot be ignored. Lim said the failure to counter this dangerous attempt to sabotage, undermine and replace the unity government that has won a vote of confidence in Parliament would be tantamount to being disrespectful to the King and Parliament.
PJ MP Lee Chien Chung has claimed that the influence of PAS and Bersatu is declining to the point that they have to depend on Dr. Mahathir's strength. He also congratulated Mahathir for being seen as the de facto leader of PN.
Petaling Jaya MP Lee Chien Chung has offered a tongue-in-cheek congratulatory message to former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. In a statement today, Lee said that it seems as if Mahathir has become the de facto leader of PN and congratulated him on the role. He highlighted PN Deputy Chairperson Ahmad Faisal Azumu's statement challenging Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to reveal his wealth and said that it was similar to the call by Mahathir, which shows that Bersatu is beginning to bow to the Gerakan Tanah Air chairperson. He also pointed out that past President Abdul Hadi Awang has signed Mahathir's Malay People's Proclamation. With this, he said it is clear that the influence of PAS and Bersatu is seen to be declining so that it is necessary for them to depend on Mahathir's strength. Lee also dismissed claims that Anwar had not disclosed his wealth, saying that he had declared his assets on November 9, 2022. Earlier this week, Mahathir asked Anwar to declare how much he was worth when he served as his deputy prime minister from 1993 to 1998, claiming the latter was among the past leaders accused of cronyism. This came after Anwar reiterated his call on Mahathir to reveal how much the nonagenarian and his family are worth. Meanwhile, Faisal told the Star today that GTA is unlikely to survive on its own, as it is not a force to be reckoned with. He said Mahathir might be an influence, but the alliance was not like PN, which was a force on its own.
Anthony Loke hopes that UMNO will win big in the upcoming state elections. He said a win for UMNO would only benefit the current coalition government.
DAP Secretary-General Anthony Loke has expressed his support for UMNO in the upcoming state elections. Speaking at a roundtable session by Bersih at Parliament yesterday, Loke said the government would not work if they kept thinking that they would have to fight against UMNO again in the next elections. He said UMNO's win would benefit the current coalition government.
At this point of time, I hope that UMNO can win bigger. Because by them becoming stronger, this government will be better. It will be stronger. Because it's at the expense of the opposition, if they are stronger. So I think at this point of time, we do not think about fighting each other in the next election. To cross this immediate state elections, of course, we will work together. We have made a decision not to contest against each other. Because by contesting against each other and yet working together in the same government is a recipe for disaster.
Lok said this in response to a question by an audience member who asked about the decoupling of the federal and state governments to allow politicians who are working together in the federal coalition government to contest against each other at the state level. He added that this had been shown by the cooperation between BN and Perikatan Nasional before this. He said although they were both in the same federal government, they went against each other at the state level and it has shown that the cooperation would not last. Although PN and BN were previously part of the same federal government, they had contested against each other in the Malacca and Johor state elections in November 2021 and March 2022 respectively.
During the same event, Lok also replied to a question on whether DAP would be able to work with PAS.
DAP Secretary General Anthony Lok said it would be impossible for his party to work with PAS in its current form. Lok quoted the late Karpal Singh in saying that although there are no permanent enemies and permanent friends in politics, there are still permanent principles. With this, he said for DAP, his party's principle is that whoever forms the federal government in Malaysia must uphold the country's multiracialism and diversity.
The current PAS at its current form, the answer is a definite no. Let me give a very firm, definite no. Because they do not believe in multiculturalism. I think that is my answer to that. If you look at their statements, you look at the speeches, the views propagated by the president, they totally disregard Malaysia as a multiracial country. I think that is a big no as far as we are concerned.
DAP had in the past worked with the Islamist Party to form Barisan Alternatif in 1999 until 2001 and Pakatan Rakyat from 2008 to 2015. Both DAP and PAS were members of the three-party opposition PR before the bloc fell apart in 2015 over differences on the implementation of the Islamic Penal Code or Hudud in Kelantan.
Speaking of PAS, one of their leaders has called for Coldplay's concert to be cancelled. This came following Anwar's welcome message to the band.
Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has welcomed Grammy Award-winning band Coldplay's announcement that they will be finally performing in Malaysia this November. Anwar retweeted Coldplay's announcement of its Music of the Sphere tour yesterday and wrote, "Welcome to Kuala Lumpur." In a video uploaded later, he also acknowledged Coldplay's environmentalist and climate crisis agenda. However, his views were not shared by PAS Central Committee member Nasruddin Hassan. In response to the announcement, Nasruddin called for the event to be cancelled, saying it brought no benefit to the country and the Rakyat. In a post on his Facebook page today, Nasruddin also shared photographs of Coldplay frontman Chris Martin holding up a rainbow flag at a concert in London, England, and questioned if the government is trying to spread hedonism and deviant culture in the country. Coldplay will be performing at Stadium Bukit Jalil in Kuala Lumpur on November 22nd. The event is organised by Live Nation and sponsored by DHL and CIMB. Martin has been known to regularly display the rainbow flag, often regarded as a symbol of LGBT rights, during concerts.
Lim Guan Eng has replied to Muhyiddin's statement of defence against his defamation suit. He questioned the timing of the allegations made by Muhyiddin on the Al-Bukhari Foundation.
Lim Guan Eng has revealed that Muhyiddin Yassin did not raise the issue of the alleged cancellation of Al-Bukhari Foundation's tax-exempt status when they were both part of the cabinet in Dr. Mahathir Mohamed's government. He said this in his reply to Muhyiddin's statement of defence against his defamation suit. Lim also questioned the timing of the allegation being raised, which came as the former Home Minister was facing a criminal court case earlier this year. He claimed that the allegation was a desperate attempt by Muhyiddin to distract public attention from his criminal charges by pinning the blame on him for causing the revocation of the tax exemption status of the foundation. Lim added that if he was indeed the person who cancelled the tax exemption to Al-Bukhari Foundation, Muhyiddin had more than 33 months after the fall of the Pakatan Harapan government in February 2020 to reveal the alleged wrongdoings. He said the fact that Muhyiddin did not disclose the alleged wrongdoings shows that he and/or the Finance Ministry did not revoke any tax exemption status to Al-Bukhari Foundation. Meanwhile, in response to Muhyiddin's contention that Lim has to prove in court that the Finance Ministry did not revoke the tax exemption status, the Bagan MP said that the law of defamation suits puts the burden on the defendant to prove the alleged cancellation. Previously, in his statement of defense, Muhyiddin, who was Prime Minister during the Perikatan National Administration from 2020 to 2021, expressed his doubt over the veracity of the Finance Ministry's statement issued in March, which said that neither the ministry nor its officers had revoked the exemption. He also claimed that Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's statement in Parliament that there were no records of Lim having revoked the foundation's tax exemption status was wholly irrelevant. Muhyiddin said it was a mere deflection so that the DAP chairperson would not be held accountable for the Inland Revenue Board's decision on the issue. On March 27th, Lim had filed a defamation suit over Muhyiddin's allegations that he was responsible for the Al-Bukhari Foundation losing its tax-exempt status.
Azam Baki will remain as the MACC chief for another year. The government confirmed the extension of his term effective from May 12.
Chief Secretary to the government Muhammad Zuki Ali has announced that MACC Chief Azam Baki's contract has been extended by 1 year. In a statement today, Zuki said the Yang di-Pertuan Agong consented to the extension, which is effective from May 12. Azam will be celebrating his 60th birthday on May 12, which is the mandatory retirement age. He was appointed as MACC Chief in 2020, replacing Latifa Koya, who resigned after the change in government that year. According to NST, the MACC Chief said he has been with the graft buster for 39 years. Azam played a key role in MACC's investigations on 1MDB-related matters and led the probe into the Port Klang Free Zone affair. As MACC Chief, he has also overseen probes against DAP Chairperson Lim Guan Eng, Muda President Syed Sadiq Syed Abdul Rahman, and Bersatu and its leadership, among others. The agency under his lead also probed SRC International Trial Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali over alleged conflict of interest and misconduct. However, members of the judiciary had claimed that the probe on Nazlan was not done according to the procedure.
Azalina revealed that she is more comfortable working hand-in-hand with Harapan on reforms compared to other parties. However, she did not reveal the name of the party or coalition she was comparing Harapan to.
Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Law and Institutional Reform, Azalina Othman Syed, believes that Pakatan Harapan is a better suited partner for reform when compared to other parties and coalitions. She said as the legal advisor for UMNO, she felt more comfortable working hand-in-hand with Harapan after the two worked together on several reforms, including the anti-party hopping law.
Secondly, myself personally, because of the fact that we've been working together, especially on the anti-hopping law, with Bersih's assistant, my party's exposure, participation, and also with PH, we realized that there are certain common agenda that we can work together. And for me personally, and this is not my party, is that I do get excited over reform agenda. And I felt that personally, in my view as the legal advisor for the party then, when we were communicating and talking about the coalition government, I personally felt that PH would be much better for reform, in the sense of they sort of understand the concept of reform.
She added that on a personal level, she would much prefer cooperating with Harapan than another party, which she described to be more conservative than UMNO. However, she did not reveal the name of the party or coalition she was comparing Harapan to, and only referred to them as you-know-who. Azalina said that she didn't know if the public were happy with the marriage between Harapan and UMNO or not, but was informed that the complaints are fewer than before. She added that from her personal view, the state elections will be the testing ground for their relationship.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.